Hey guys, Rob the Spiritual Nomad, enjoying some space out here at Bianchini Ranch, Bivalve Dairy, out here in Point Reyes, California, courtesy of Harvest Hosts. I really enjoy Harvest Host. This video has nothing to do with them, but I'm deeply grateful for the subscription, and I know many people use it to enjoy at least one free night at many locations. Been sitting out here for probably about 3 hours, and I can feel my central nervous system calming, and it reminds me of just how healing nature can be. And then I had this idea, why don't you do a van life riff on this experience, which is the reason why so many of us seem to move in this direction. We move in this direction because I'll let everybody else speak for themselves, but I'll speak for myself. I moved in this direction because we live in a culture that's popping things, smoking things, drinking things, scrolling things, binging things. All these things that we do are like vibrational data that we voluntarily and sometimes involuntarily just take into our life, take into our brains, take into our bodies. And all of it has this effect, right, of just jazzing the central nervous system. Our culture has incentivized, especially corporations in our culture have incentivized this jazzing of our nervous system so that we work in jobs that put us in front of computers, that jazz our nervous system with blue light, with constant dinging of email, constant increase of traffic in our inbox, communications in Microsoft Teams and Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp and Signal and iMessage and SMS and just constant barrage of communications just at work, right? Not to mention people outside of our work, family and friends constantly getting a hold of us, pinging us, making bids for attention constantly. It's like everything wants a piece of us. And they're used to asking for a piece of us because we're used to giving it to them. And then you get off work and you got to go fill your belly with some food. So you go to a restaurant and you've got tons of words on menus, creating another barrage of information on your central nervous system with choices, decisions. You kind of reach a place by the end of the workday where you're just in decision fatigue, as well as adrenal fatigue, because all these bids for attention strike the body and the brain in such a way that it ignites the production of cortisol and adrenaline so that you can respond to all the things. And then we get to the end of the fucking day and we're just fucking exhausted. And what do? We come home and we light a cigarette, we pour a drink, we smoke a joint, we doom scroll Facebook or Twitter or whatever the hell people do now. You can tell I've been off of it long enough. And we stream shit, man. Good night. We stream the fuck out of shit, don't we? We turn on our favorite TV series on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or whatever the things are now, and and we just watch one show after another while we're smoking or drinking or taking our anti-anxiety meds or whatever. And then we go to sleep with a really supercharged, super jazzed nervous system, and then we expect to wake up refreshed in the morning, but we're not. We're just as fucking exhausted as we were the day before. We've had a little bit of marginal gain in our sleep, but then we wake up and we're like, I don't know why I'm so tired in the morning. I don't understand why I can't sleep so well. Man, I've been there. Holy shit. And I guess what I've noticed is just how much our culture and corporations and then our culture have just turned us into products, have turned us as humans into products. Think about that. We are the product. They are selling us things to smoke, things to drink, things to watch, things to scroll, things to buy, another whole category. And then when we're exhausted from all that, then they're selling us medication to take in order to make it all better. And if we don't like the medication, maybe we're a little bit more holistic, then we choose alternative means, all to calm and regulate the central nervous system, which has been fucked up by all the things that other corporations are trying to sell us. So that you get to a place where you feel like you're just a walking human product for all of these companies that are trying to sell me shit and make money. And then you get exhausted one day and you realize, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to spend my money on subscriptions. I did, man. Good night. Netflix. I added them all up one day. Netflix and Prime, and I think it was Hulu, and I'm a spiritual guy, so I had a Gaia subscription, of course. And then I had subscriptions to other things I would watch. Man, I was spending over $100 a month. Disney Plus, on all these subscriptions. And I remember sitting back after a couple of years while I lived in Germany and spent so much time watching things during COVID, especially. Man, companies made a hell of a lot of money during COVID, didn't they? I remember sitting back just thinking, how much time have I spent watching things that have soothed me? There's nothing wrong with that. Right? I don't want to give any impression that there's anything necessarily wrong with this. There's not. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. We do, and there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's a path we choose to take, and it's often a path that we must take in order to have the experience that it brings. But for me, I chose that path, and I started calculating how much time I was spending. Man, it was hundreds of hours a year in front of the damn TV. And I remember feeling so frustrated with myself. I remember feeling the fear and the shame and the guilt, that trifecta of destruction in my soul because of how much time and money I had spent on all that. And I wanted to change. And so I started just, the instinctive thing for me is was just canceling subscriptions and like, I'm not going to spend any more time in front of this thing. And I know when I did, and I got out in my car and started driving and traveling a little bit more after COVID was over, I started to feel my central nervous system calming when I was out in nature, sitting at the base of a mountain range, thinking about how I would hike it or climb it. I'd be on my bicycle, I'd have my hiking boots on, and I could just remember the almost foreign sense of my central nervous system calming for the first time in a while, because my feet and my body were connected to nature again. And it gives you a little taste of something, and you start to wonder if there's more. And for many of us, that kind of graduates and grows and escalates and progresses into something like the van life. When you can reduce your personal consumption of corporate goodies down to a bare minimum so that you can just be. Just be. And when you're just being, when I'm just being out in the middle of this 1,000-acre cattle farm with these hay bales and watching the geese and the hawks and all the things go by, the deer and the cattle, and there's nothing out here demanding my attention except just this. And even then, I notice that my brain will go back to its default mode of thinking about things and solving problems and thinking about people. And again, nothing wrong with that, but it's the programming that's happened in our brains that still make me a product of sorts. And then I'll catch myself because I'm into mindfulness meditation, and I've developed enough of that habit to where my brain will now catch itself wandering off down a rabbit trail somewhere other than where I am right here. And then it'll bring me back, and all of a sudden it's like my eyes refocus on the hills behind me or the water or the sounds. And I can tell a difference in my central nervous system, my heartbeat, the noise in my head, my blood pressure. I can tell all of that begins to decline and decrease and recenter and rebalance, which makes me then wonder immediately, where the fuck was it at for the last 5 minutes when I was chasing a rabbit trail on something I was thinking about? But that's what this environment does. That's what nature does. I read somewhere, I don't know if it's pseudoscience or not, because I'm not an electrical engineer, but I think it's, from what I've read, I think it's accurate that the Earth, because of its electromagnetic frequency, it carries a certain measurable frequency that evidently you can stick a meter in the ground and measure it. And that when our shoes and socks are off and our feet are connected to the ground, that frequency travels up through the body, and it begins to reacclimate the body, reacclimate our central nervous system to that frequency, to that vibration, so that our bodies experience a state of calm, rebalancing, recentering. I got my boots on here because it's too cold out here. It's about 57 degrees, and that's a little too chilly for me to have my feet off. Plus, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of shit literally on the ground everywhere. So, but you get the point. Even as I just listen right now to the wind blowing through the trees behind me and whipping through the grass in front of me, I can hear various birds here and there. It's such a calming environment. And this is why van life people do what we do. We're so tired of the noise. We're so tired of being products that we just want to be with ourselves. I think that's all I got to say about that. It's time, as Forrest Gump would say. There's my riff, my van life riff on corporate culture and its effect on our central nervous system. And it's nice when you get done and you feel that very natural smile start to spread over your face. You feel your torso, your stomach go from tense to relaxed. And notice my chest and my shoulders going from tense to relaxed. Just simply from listening to the wind, feeling it on my face and my body, listening to the sounds of nature around me and the occasional traffic behind me. All is good, yo. All is good. Be well, everybody. Thanks for watching.